Today, we're going to compare the US dollar to Bitcoin Satoshi and consider how much Bitcoin you'd need to own if you intend to build generational wealth for your family down the line. Before we get started, I just want to thank our new subscribers and remind you to hit that like button, share this on social media if you find value in the content. Let's get started. So let's talk a little bit about how I like to define wealth. And my definition was taken from the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is an amazing book if you never read it. But really, the idea is wealth is the amount of time you could live comfortably if you were to stop working today. So if I were to retire today, how long could I survive? How long would the amount of money, my net worth, let me live a comfortable lifestyle or whatever lifestyle I want to live? There's wealth. So then we talk about generational wealth. We're talking about wealth that lasts not only your lifetime, but the lifetime of that of your children, and of course generations that come after you. In today's society, we tend to think of millionaires as being wealthy. And millionaires are basically people that have $1 million US. Now, Bitcoin is measured in what we mentioned before as Satoshis. Now, a Satoshi is a very, very small unit of measurement. In fact, it actually takes 100 million Satoshis to equal 1 Bitcoin, as opposed to 100 cents to equal 1 US dollar. So whereas you might be able to amass millions of US dollars, very, very few people are going to ever own millions of Bitcoin. And what we have to do is keep in mind that there really are only 21 million Bitcoin that were ever in existence, and there will never be more than that. So as people buy Bitcoin and hold them, that number is only going to go down. It's also estimated that roughly 4 million Bitcoin were actually lost, whether they were stolen, misplaced, and never to be found, or whatever the case may be, because cryptocurrency is not always easy to deal with. Because in order to do it, you have to have some level of technological proficiency in order to be responsible with your Bitcoin. So really, we're only talking about 17 million Bitcoin to begin with. So we have to shift our thinking and realize that not everyone will even be able to own one full Bitcoin. The fact that we can own one Bitcoin right now for roughly in between $6,000 or $7,000 is potentially, and I'm not going to say definitely, but potentially incredible, because there are over 7 billion people in the world. So if all of these people, or even half of these people, end up wanting a piece of Bitcoin and end up using Bitcoin regularly, or just adopting it in some way, and forget about if it becomes the world currency, because I don't even want to know how much it'll be worth at that point. But if even half of those people end up doing it, it's going to be impossible for everyone to own one Bitcoin. So we're really buying Bitcoin right now if we're investing, if you're investing like I am, for pennies on the dollar. So it's a pretty exciting time. This week, I stumbled onto an article entitled, "Bitcoin is still at an early stage. If you hold 0.28 Bitcoin, you're part of the 1%. So just over a quarter of the Bitcoin, a quarter of 1 Bitcoin, could make you extremely wealthy over time. According to Steve Lee, who is a former Google product director, he says if you own 0.28 Bitcoin and HODL, which means you hold long term, you can be certain that no more than 1% of the current world's population can ever own more Bitcoin than you. A modest investment of $1,830 today can ensure you're a 1%er in a future Bitcoin world." Now, when we talk about this future Bitcoin world, we don't exactly know when that's going to be or what that really means. And I just want to talk about some of the things that have been in the news lately. So Coinbase announced that it's working with the largest asset manager, BlackRock, to set up a cryptocurrency exchange-traded fund. Goldman Sachs is setting up a cryptocurrency trading desk and said it's looking to offer custody products for its clients, meaning that people that keep their money with Goldman Sachs can rest assured that Goldman Sachs will take care of and literally hold the Bitcoin for them, so they don't have to worry about then losing it or misplacing it. And that's the whole idea of custody. All right, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch all announced they're working on Bitcoin trading products also. So these are all extremely big names, just worldwide companies getting involved in cryptocurrency, which makes me extremely confident about the future. You know, I'm just telling you this to make you think, because I think as Americans, we always think we need to own so many Bitcoin, as I mentioned before, but really just a quarter of a Bitcoin might be enough to do it for you. And when you're thinking about less than $2,000, if you're a middle-class American, it's a very reasonable amount of money that most people can afford to lose. So if you have that and you want to try rolling the dice, it may or may not be a bad idea. Bear in mind, I'm not a professional financial advisor. I'm just a person just sharing my opinions on the internet. And you have to do your own research and invest at your own risk. And don't do anything stupid like take a second mortgage on your house or blow your kids' college savings on cryptocurrencies, because you could seriously get burned. But with all that being said, I am still incredibly excited about what the future holds for cryptocurrency, and I am ready to take this journey and take the ride, pun intended. I want to thank you for watching the video. If you're still with me, ask you to subscribe to the channel and join our community. And speaking of community, let me know if you think price of Bitcoin will be above or below 10,000 US dollars by the year's end. Comment down below. Let me know about that. And enjoy the ride. I will see you during the next video.